In Shadow. This animated film was written, directed, and produced by Lubomir Arsov, and it is a very complex animated film due to the large number of scenes that are shown in every minute. When you see the film and watch it several times, you will see that it is not a Masonic or an Illuminati production. This film tells us the suppressed truth of our reality and modern society, exposing almost everything that is going on in the shadow with a very, very fascinating ending. Let's start to analyze this film scene by scene. First, the film begins with a scene that resembles a cell, and this is a sign of the beginning of life, or the first cell that will divide to give other cells. These cells radiate white light as it opens to acquire intelligence. Then these cells go out to have an endless number of smart cells, and it seems that the filmmaker in the scene refers to the theory of parallel universes and the multiplicity of universes. These universes were gathered inside the pupil of the eye, indicating that through the video, we will look through what is happening in this world with a real look. Then a cube appears to us while the surrounding light is diminishing, which is a sign of the decline of the luminous energy under the molding system that the Earth was exposed to when it became in the form of a mold. Black smoke and blackness show us a sign of evil. This smoke reveals to us the extent of evil and corruption that has surrounded the Earth, to the extent that we can see it from space. Then, after that, the name of the film In Shadow appears, or what is hidden in the world, or the fake world, that the elite made us live in. Then a red glow will appear as a sign of psychological control. Then a black building opening appears as if it is a box, and as a sign from it to the Pandora's box, where in Greek mythology, Zeus gave a box to Pandora or Eve and ordered her not to open it because it contains all human evils of greed, vanity, slander, and lies, except that Eve's curiosity prompted her to open the box, and out came all human evil. After that, a red cube surrounded by 6 people will appear as a sign from them to prepare the system of molding for psychological control. These 6 people symbolize the Star of David. When we look at it from the top, the star will appear, as the owner of the film tries to indicate that the origin of evil stems from the hidden government protocols that were formed in secret. And then the molding system is launched to control humans as it goes directly to the mind and surrounds it. And we see a gap in the center of the chest as a start to the corruption of the heart chakra. After that, the system of molding glow increases to reach its climax and controls all who are there. Then the effects of the psychological control system appear to us. People shutting their ears and mouths in the sense that we do not see, neither hear nor speak. That is what is known as the theory of the 3 wise monkeys. Next is the worker who is exhausted due to the abundance of office work, who appears to us as an indication that mankind is exhausted by the typical routine work that has made human beings dull, to serve the bosses as if they are mechanical machines. Then a person appears to us carrying a house on his back, and another embracing a car, as an indication that a person is enslaving himself by working for the sake of achieving never-ending material dreams. Then the owner of the film refers to the danger of technological revolution that is destroying the human being, which will be used from afar to control him. And then the brain of the users of these devices will explode because of the corrupt ideas they receive from these technological means. Then a group of people will appear to us upside down on their heads, and time is passing by with insane speed, as this is a sign of the speed of the passage of time and that life is upside down. Then there will appear people without a heart, and black smoke of corruption emanating from their heads, followed by the appearance of the mask. The mask represents the social personality that carries all the ideas, beliefs, and behaviors that they want you to do, and is promoted through the media that is themselves under their control. In the next scene, the viewer acquires a social character and wears the social mask that he will deal with the surrounding community. And this mask is completely different to the personality of the wearer because it does not represent its essence at all. Then all people appear to be wearing the mask of a social personality that has been acquired by the media. The next scene refers to the excessive use of alcohol in order to break shyness and escape from loneliness. And this consumption accompanies people until they conclude their lives with marriage, and a person finds no way to escape that madness except by hugging his partner in a position called in psychology the fetal position, to feel safe and to feel reassurance. Then the owner of the film tells us that the newborn is born with his luminous energy, which is distributed in the 7 chakras, and then that energy is destroyed, except that it is limited by the vaccinations that are given to children in care centers that were originally prepared to do so. The next scene talks about school education, where the education system is controlled and destructive ideas are planted in the minds of the children. And this means thinking inside the box in the sense of implanting the illusion of giving the truth. And we see the child who thinks outside the box and who has beautiful ideas and then encodes them in different colors. Those thoughts will be extracted from his head and subjected to thinking within the box system. Here we see the scene of the teacher who emits the smoke of corruption and who leads these children to the abyss after their minds were then twisted with corrupted thoughts. Then the scene of children falling from the abyss appeared to us after their minds have been poisoned to become dull, when they grow up to be exploited in wars, and their only mission is to destroy the world as they have been programmed from their childhood to become human machines ready to use in wars. Then a group of coffins appears to us that symbolize millions of innocent victims because of these wars, and the beneficiaries here are the arms sellers. And this is what happens when political figures come out of the coffins and stand on the ruins and skulls of the victims with blood-stained money in their hands. And here comes the role of the media, the one who polishes the pictures of these bad guys while controlling them through MK Ultra experiences. Then in the following scene, political men in the form of dolls who are controlled by the ruling elite in the shadows are not only politicians, but also controlling journalists and program presenters. And these programs are nothing but a claim to wearing a social mask and polishing his image with viewers until it is completed. Totally controlled. The viewers are then deluded into the glamorous life and luxury of celebrities and stars, who are really nothing but secretly sex dolls who are enslaved and invited in their shows. Then it appears to us how people have become attached to the life of celebrities to the point of satisfaction, and they are in fact nothing but slaves, as they are used by the elite to control humans. Then the cinema scene tells us, as the collective consciousness has been hypnotized by dramatic and heroic stories where the man and woman see themselves in the title role, and the cinema shows are controlled by controlling the director, which is what appears to us now in this scene, where the director seeks to win prizes, and to be won, he must run out of what is being filled in secretly by the elite. In the following scene, we show how young people are controlled by sexual desire, and in order for the young man to attract girls, he must submit to psychological control and imprison the mind inside the box to escape loneliness, depression, and isolation in order to achieve happiness. But in fact, it is only a way to program the user's mind with polluted thoughts and urge the owner to wear the social mask. Then it appears to us in the other scene that every human being meets the other through his social mask, prompting the conversations that take place between them are nothing but stereotyped conversations of a representative character that make them think only from inside the box. Then comes the scene of preparing children and recruiting them from their childhood through games of war and violence. And while wars have become a means of entertainment on the one hand, in the shadows many children are subjected to killing, physical deformities, and scattering of organs because of those wars. Then there appears to us a scene of two girls claiming happiness and amusement, but in secret they are nothing but slave laborers to raise the productive forces. Then the scene appears that indicates an obsession with taking pictures and excessive shopping on the part of women, as fashion companies reap fictional profits from them. And this crazy shopping is an attempt by women to imitate fashion models who are enslaved and polished by the media in order to lure other women to become like them. In the following scene, many animals are sacrificed for use in the manufacture of fashion clothes, while another scene describes that no matter what the quality of clothes and glamorous looks change, the corrupt character remains corrupt. And then comes the scene that tells us that the mask hides behind it the true essence of the girl, who really she lives in sadness and pain, and her only dream is to impress all the men around her. As for men, in order to attract the attention of the girl, they inflate their muscles using all means. But in fact, this muscle mass hides behind it children who shiver with fear. Then, in the next scene, where everyone seeks to attract attention to what each one of them owns in search of attention and appreciation, among them the marginalized and the lonely, whose self-image and desperate attempts to attract attention have been shattered through rebellion. Then the second scene shows the madness and brutality of the consumption of animal resources as people eat more than they need, like monsters. And food has not been spared from genetic modification, and manufactured materials have lost their natural taste. The following scene shows that the excessive consumption of genetically modified foods has resulted in many organic diseases and tumors that afflict millions of people. And this is what medical companies, pharmaceuticals, and pharmacists exploit in order to achieve fantastic profits at the expense of people's health. Organizations that manufacture viruses and other organizations that manufacture the treatment, called the conspiracy of doctors and pharmacists, cooperate to destroy health and gain huge money. And there are doctors who work for them who make deals behind the scenes to encourage people to the importance of taking these drugs. Then a scene appears in which people are rushing to take them. They impose it on their children. The scene of patients appears as they flock to doctors who are fortified with higher degrees, who have received their studies by the ruling elite. And these evil doctors get their prizes and rewards for the manufacture of these drugs that destroy humans. Then in the next scene of businessmen shaking hands while each one of them is looking into the pocket of the other, meaning that these outward agreements are nothing but interests that make each one of them covet what the other has. In the following scene, a fat person biting the head of other people while passing a red tape that includes many words, including the word NASDAQ, which refers to the NASDAQ stock exchange. And here the owner of the film indicates that the strong eat the weak in the world of trading. Then he moves us to another scene that describes that taxes and money in the banks are used to finance wars and conflicts that the mafia and drug traffickers make by selling them to people. In the next scene, we see men standing in front of the court and asking us to be silent. And in the middle, there is a washing machine. It is an indication of the money laundering process that takes place by buying the silence of the judges. The next scene describes elite control in international banks, and this means printing money freely and stealing by providing loans with interests, where 4 elite men are shown stealing from people's pockets after they have been deceived by bank loans, and this is a sign of human enslavement by money. Then comes the scene of eliminating fish wealth through the pollution caused by the people. And then comes the scene of a suicide as a sign of the elimination of natural life forms. The following scene of men who appear to be Arabs and their aggressive outlook, and behind them are boxes of treasures as a sign of the Arab and Western alliance. Then the two characters are replaced by other figures. A European and another Native American appear as an alliance for the colonization of the American continent in the hopes of wealth. After that comes a scene describing the development of the enslaved system, which includes various people. And then the black race disappears through the use of chemical experiments and the spread of the contemporary culture of slavery and the implantation of racism in societies. Then two people appear to us fighting among themselves, while the elite that are in the shadows appear behind them. And this is a sign of the spread of ethnic conflicts in order to spread hatred and separate people. Then in the next scene we see here a group of people, while each of them puts his hand to cover the mouths of others. And this means that each person is trying to silence and suppress the other, and it is a sign of preventing any attempt to speak the truth or confront the elite regimes. Then comes the scene of spreading conflicts between spouses while they are silenced to reach the stage of divorce and the destruction of marital and family life. Here we see the scene of preparing the obedient character that resembles a pet dog. Then we see a corrupt political figure sitting on a desk with human skulls underneath. And this means that reaching higher ranks is at the expense of people's lives. Here we see the scene of the herd that sees the truth and that venerates the political figures that the elite changes whenever their validity expires. The next scene is between two parties. Some of them wear blue and another part wears red, which is an indication of the political party struggle between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The following scene of an elite person standing on the back of two other people and holding them with a collar on their necks, and fear is apparent on them, and in the sky clouds are in the form of skulls. This indicates that controlling humans is done by spreading chemtrails and also fear and terror. The next scene is of the elite colluding with the political and judicial system in order to obliterate people from seeing the truth. In the following scene, we can see children in a state of crying and the elite are silencing them, while their parents are covering their ears. And this means that the children no longer receive enough attention from their parents because the elite occupied them by running after the material and life conditions, so they have forgotten the interest in raising their children. The next scene is of storming houses and exploiting discounts between people through phones and social networking sites, while there are surveillance cameras directed at them, and they are lying in a bed or a glass house. And this means that people are being watched by the elite, even in their bedrooms. Then it appears that the glass prison that restrains everyone inside of it, where you think you have freedom, but in fact you are bound in a technology prison, so that the media community contributes to programming and imprisoning collective consciousness. In the next scene, a group of people pressed into shelves above each other and unable to move. In it is a sign from the owner of the film to narrow international borders, and above them sit four main characters from the elite, the four families that rule the world. In the following scene we can see flying houses in the sky as a signal from the owner of the film that the salvation of mankind lies in transcending the materialistic view of life in order for the light of truth to radiate. And when this materialistic view of life is overridden, the destruction of control systems and on humans will be destroyed automatically, and mind control would be eliminated. The social mask that conceals the true essence is destroyed. The systems of slavery and psychological barriers are completely destroyed. And the elite begin to fall, and the truth of it is revealed. Then comes the stripping scene of influential people and politicians to reveal their truth, which is hidden behind a group of masks, which show their thirsty essence of money and greed. Then these characters begin to vomit black blood mixed with riches that have been plundered and stolen from the innocents. Then comes the scene of shattering the false social mask, which will show human beings' true essence and get out of the sea of enslavement and slavery. Next comes the scene of spiritual liberation or self-combustion and the birth of the phoenix that was mentioned in ancient myths, and that it is said that after his death he burns himself until he becomes ashes, and then emits from the ashes again. Then the scene of confronting the two appears to us, where the phoenix cannot rise to probe the depths of the soul and bypass the physical limitations of the mind, soul, body, and awaken or activate the energy of the Kundalini, which is the advanced level of enlightenment that a person reaches after activating the 7 chakras to reach the stage of ascension and arrival to the divine self. After ascending to this ascension state, man gets rid of his material garment and the limits of time and space. Then the birth of the luminous divine masculine and feminine are being done through the cycle of rebirth or reincarnation of the souls. And here the producer of the film indicates that man will not know the meaning of salvation and liberation except through enlightenment. That is, for man to become a luminary and nourish his etheric energy. And the tree of life represents the connection between the 9 worlds or dimensions. Now we have reached the end of the analysis. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share the video with others. I will invite you now to watch the film once again in order to get to the truth of what is going on behind the scenes. And then I want you to share your analyses about this amazing animated film with me in the comments below.